And how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Minecraft Let's Play. My name, of course, is System Z, and today we're not going to be doing that much building. In fact, I'm not sure if we're really going to be doing any building at all. And screenshot, I just took a screenshot on accident. But yeah, we're going to be doing redstone. Not really much of it. We're just going to be hooking up the sugarcane part of the build, which I featured or explained last episode. So let's kind of make a full 180 here and turn around and let me show you guys the progress I have made, which I'll be honest is not that much. I've kind of added on these side little wings, but I don't know if I'm going to keep them. I'm just trying to figure out where I want to go with this design, but you can see the landscaping is starting to fill out. I filled in the river here, or the little waterway, and that's where the waterfall is going to go. We're going to be working in that area today, basically just creating an automatic sugarcane farm. That way, fireworks will be pretty easy to make. But in terms of building, not much is going to happen. So there's a few things we're going to have to do in order to make this work. So let me fly back here. The only thing I don't like about these fireworks is they are so quick. We're just going to land here, and I guess I don't really have to use that. I'll just fall down here. We're going to need sugarcane, of course, a water source here on the side, pistons, and observer blocks. This is the first time I'm using those, so I've got a lot of crafting to do, and I think we're just going to go ahead and go straight for it. So without further ado, let's introduce a new segment, the crafting montage. Alright, I have everything I need for a successful redstone build, and I love that you can slowly see the cabin, like, resolving in the background. Very atmospheric. I love it. I still have to do the landscaping over here, though, which is, you know, a bummer. I really want to get to it, but I want to live stream it. I haven't had the time. So let's go ahead and grab this sugarcane here, which is extremely loud, but there we go. We've got 20 out of that, which is all perfect, fine, and dandy. Alright, so I've got the basic set of tools that we need to do this. We have the observers, the pistons, the hoppers, the chest, and the redstone, of course. Now, this is a very, very easy redstone build, so please do not judge me. Do not judge me at all. And there's a plane passing by in the background, so if you hear that, that's what it is. But this is probably not going to take that long at all now that I think about it. It's going to be a very, very easy build if you ask me. But anyways, let's just get straight into it. Enough babbling. I have a problem with that. I've noticed that, and a few of you have called me out on it. I have a problem with babbling on and just not getting to the point. So let's try and hurry this up. So the idea here, I'm going to use stone as an example. So let's say that you have sugarcane there, right? And the blocks we're doing this on are these three, plus that one, and then these three. But these sides, they're not going to be sugarcane. That's just pathways over into it. But anyways, let's close this. Not for any reason, but just because I want to close it. We're going to have sugarcane here. And then we're going to have a line of stone. So let's go ahead and place all of this just all the way across, I think till about there. And then we are going to have pistons right here, right? And then an observer block there. And the idea is that whenever the sugarcane grows up to 3, the observer block will activate the piston. The piston will then break the sugarcane, launch it forward at this wall, which is why I put this wall here. A lot of people may have assumed, you know, that this was just for design purposes, but no. This was for functionality, because without this wall, the sugarcane would go flying into the waterfall, and the hoppers would never retrieve them. So anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started here. We're going to just place the pistons first. Very easy part. And I'm already over here, so why not? So we've got them all laid out. And like I said, this is going to be almost too easy. It's an extremely easy farm. Very easy. Very efficient, though. But we're just going to start by doing that. And the observer blocks are pretty cool. They just go that way. So whichever way you need the update, you just need to be facing that way and place it down. So basically, if I were to place a block here, it's not going to do anything. But if I did on the other side, it would. So I have a good way of showing that off here in just a second. So we're going to place all those. And then we're going to get this redstone and just place it down on here. This redstone is going to allow these pistons to activate because it's powering this block, which is then powering the pistons. Most of you are like, duh, this is extremely easy. But some of you may not. So I'm explaining it. Plus, I like looking like I know stuff. But all right, so let's give this a try. If this face sees a block, that's the way you got to remember it. If the face sees a block, then it updates. That's how it works. So as you can kind of see, is the moment a sugarcane block hits that is the moment it's going to update it. So the piston will automatically break out the sugarcane. So before I get on to placing the water, I'm going to go ahead and place the hoppers just because it's a lot easier. I just need to find the center, so we're going to do it about here. And I'm going to go all the way till about there. We're going to place the chest right out there and then just have the hoppers all kind of pointing in towards that. Now, I don't have sugarcane right here, obviously, like I said, but I'm sure sugarcane is bound to fall over here, so we're just going to place it there anyways. And as I'm doing this, I'm realizing just how fast this is and like how easy this is. This is definitely not an entire episode's worth. So I'm so sorry if today's episode is very short. I didn't plan anything else though, so that's sad. But yeah, so now we have the sugarcane, or not sugarcane, we have the blocks placed. So if I just start throwing some sugarcane in, that'll all go to the chest, which as you guys know, that's how hoppers work, of course. Let's go ahead and walk around, or do that. And I guess we're not in flying mode, so I can't quite fly out of that situation. And by the way, this is not complete. This is landscaping templates. I'm just trying to get an idea of where we're going to take the mountain. But let's go ahead and check the chest. And there it is. I've also got some cobblestone. So I need 7 sugarcane just to kind of get this thing started. So we're going to grab that. But I'm going to go ahead and get started on placing the water, just because I need to practice a little bit to see exactly how we're going to need it. Because if I place a water source here, it might still make the sugarcane go forward. So I've just got a little bit of tampering to do to see how it's going to work. But anyways, I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll catch you guys in just a minute. That is looking pretty good now that we've got a waterfall there. I actually really like the way that looks. It just needs a little bit more leaves, I think. Just like a little bit, just to balance the area off. But maybe we can put like plants hanging down from up here, or like right there or something. I don't know. We'll find out something to do with that area. But anyways, the water has been placed. Now what I ended up doing is, oh, I wonder if we could go straight through the window. We can't. Oh, well, there we go. I cheated a little bit though. I used a firework and almost died at that. But anyways, let's go ahead and drop down here. What I did, you guys saw, I put a source block here, but I also ended up putting one right next to it, although it's kind of not visible. You see the water's running. You might very barely, like, can't even really see it, but you can kind of tell the water's running right there. Basically, I did that to where there was 2 sources. That way, whenever the sugarcane were to fall here, it wouldn't just automatically start falling and flowing off into the water. Now, that may not fix it. That may work. It may not. I know I'm bound to lose a few sugarcane to the waterfall eventually, but that's fine. I mean, this is going to be automatic. I'm not really worried about losing any. But anyways, let's go ahead and place these down. And what I'm going to do, just for example's sakes, is break my knees. Just like that. We're going to come up here and take a peek at it. We're going to climb all the way up here and basically just look down here. I'm going to turn the tick speed up just for this example, just to see it work. Now, yes, this is going to give me sugarcane that grows a lot faster, but this is just for example. And if this is like forever anyways, and I'll be getting infinite amounts of sugarcane, it's kind of cheating already. But what I'm going to do is just turn it up using this command. So game rule random tick speed 300, just for example. So let's go ahead and do that, and you'll see it might get loud. I might need to do 3,000 actually, because this isn't going that fast now that I think about it. Is it even able to grow? Oh, there it goes. Okay, so as soon as you start to see them hitting the 3rd, then it'll automatically, yep, there it goes. You can see, so one of them hit the 3rd position. So all of them are getting hit, and then they fall down there, and you can see there's a sugarcane on the side. I'll just have to put some hoppers there, but you can see they all fall down on the hoppers. Let's crank this up to 3,000, and you'll see it going like crazy. So that way they're always falling down. And if we come over here and take a peek, you'll see that none of it is really, and now I'm in water mode, or swimming mode, none of them are falling down here. And you can barely see it when you kind of go off into the distance. You can very, very slightly see it. Like if you're zoomed in, you can kind of see them falling. Well, not really in this case. Maybe it's not working because we're so far away, but that's what I like about it, is it's not that visible. So it's always going to be running. We're always going to have sugarcane growing and always just, be working for us. And by the way, if you didn't know, random tick speed is naturally set to 3. So if you ever change that, you can always just set it back to 3 for the default. Which I forget to do sometimes, which you guys pointed out last episode, grass was growing like crazy. So sorry about that. I just forgot to change it. But anyways, yeah, so let's see what that generated, just for example's sake. So you can see, because of that, and yes, it was set to go really quickly, I got 62 here. So you can see it's always going to be filling this up. And we can use that to make paper for fireworks. So that's going to be fantastic. Now, sugarcane isn't that important, but yeah, I wanted to add it because why not, right? I mean, you could fill this up with just water if you'd like, but why not make it a little bit functional? But yeah, so I've got a few of these hoppers to add. Actually, you know what? Why not just go ahead and do it? Because I did it on that side. So we're going to break this block. Hopefully not die because we're underwater. Probably won't. There we go. And I'm just going to apparently throw all these extra sugar canes. Actually, I'm probably just going to throw those away since technically I cheated by changing the tick speed. But yeah, so just like that, we have a functional sugarcane farm. Not really that much redstone involved, I'll admit. Yeah, none at all, in fact. I mean, maybe just a line of it. But still cool nonetheless. So if you want to use that design, you can. But anyways, I am finished a lot earlier than I thought I'd be. So I'm going to see what else I could do for the remainder of the episode. And I'll see you guys whenever I've discovered that. Alright, time is definitely not a problem at the moment. We are not really that far along in the episode, and we haven't really done that much. So, what we're going to do is do a little landscaping. I'm going to teach you guys how to do that. We're going to pretty much work on this area. I just started coming up with an idea about how I'd like to incorporate this lower area with the cabin, and I started thinking it'd be really cool if we use this area as kind of like a campfire area, a place to just, maybe fish and just chill and relax, kind of like a backyard almost, or at least one part of a backyard. And I really like the idea of having higher level land and then just a little cliff and a pathway going up to meet this area. So we're not going to do all of it or anything like that because I don't have that much time, but I am going to show you guys just with this section of land here, about here to here, and then I'm going to show you guys kind of exactly how I do this and like how you can create your own custom landscapes. So the first thing we're going to do is just grab some stone here and kind of manipulate the land. It's somewhat like this. In the last episode you guys saw, I ended it off with a solid surface, and we started this episode with this. So it's definitely a lot better looking. So basically, the first thing you're going to want to do is just carve the land, like simply carve it. And keep in mind, there's going to be a pathway around here, so truth be told, we can tear down some of it. And the way I'd like it to kind of curve out is to kind of come out and like that. But again, I'm not working on this area on this side. I'm doing all of this. So we're just going to kind of carve the land. And I have it about 3 blocks thickness so that we are able to carve it. Now this takes a lot of stone, but usually you get it back because you are kind of what's the word? Sculpting in a way. So yeah, that's basically it. Just carve the land out and kind of get a flow going. It's really about just placing random blocks, truth be told. There's really no strategy to it. It's just about getting comfortable with building in a certain way and all that kind of stuff, and just kind of getting a shape that you'd like to keep. There is no real way to teach how to landscape because it is just random. So I'm just kind of breaking and placing. You can kind of see this is already starting to smooth out, but that's actually not something I want. So what I'm going to do is kind of bring this area up a bit more, and kind of scratch everything I just did up here, just because I'd like it to be a bit more sharp than just round. So we're just going to do that, and then it's going to kind of start to fall into place once we start placing dirt. But I think this is a good enough shape for now. So the next thing you're going to want to do once you've kind of developed a shape, actually let's break down that. Once you've developed a shape, you're going to want to grab some dirt and then obviously grass and whatnot. So let's grab the grass, and what you're going to do, and this is something Good Times with Scar always actually does, is kind of make an overhang out of the dirt and the grass on the top and just mix it in. So kind of do this and like lower it in some cases and just kind of play with it. It's a very, very weird process, but once you master it, you can make any landscape you want. So we're just going to kind of do that, and in some places I'm going to mix it into the land and just kind of, you know, get a flow going. That seems to be the catchphrase of the day. What we're just going to do about that. And then, you know, you can like raise it up and lower it and do all that kind of stuff. Let's see about where we're at. Yeah. So you'll notice some of these areas are like, you know, specifically hanging over. That's exactly what we want. And you also kind of want to make it so that some of them are a little bit deeper than just one. So just kind of doing all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to actually make an overhang out of that. Maybe bring it down one, though, just to kind of get it going. And it looks very, very rough right now, but don't worry, it's going to look a lot better once we start placing the grass. But let's find a way up here and then just simply start placing grass. Like, it's seriously that simple. You're just going to place it on top of every block. So all the dirt that we just placed, we're just going to go along and do that same thing. And now we're a little too, you know, high up, so we're just going to build this land up eventually. But for now, we're just working on the facade of the whole thing. So let's kind of give it a one-layer background, like a one-layer width background, just to kind of have some support for it as we're building it. So we've kind of done that. And what you're going to do is in some places, you know, raise it up and all that kind of stuff. And as you kind of expand that way, you're just going to raise the land, do all that kind of stuff. And there's different ways to blend it in once you've done that. I'm actually going to bring that one block down, I think. That way we can kind of have a nice little edge. So now you can see it's actually starting to look a lot more like a basic landscape. And that's exactly what we want. I'm going to add that there and just kind of blend it, right? So that's essentially what you're wanting to start with. And then after that, all you got to do is just get like cobblestone and just kind of like break it in and make it look like the whole cliff is like a rubble. So basically doing texturing and all that kind of stuff, you can really get a very cool effect out of it. And then once you add in the things like ferns and tall grass, it starts to look amazing. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and kind of retexture everything. We're going to use andesite and cobblestone for that. But I'm going to kind of get this all done, and I'll show you guys the somewhat end product. Alright, so I've just picked up some ferns. That's about the last thing we really have to do. But there is some stuff that I forgot that I'm going to go ahead and show you guys before we end off the episode. So let's fly straight through here. There we go. That was pretty cool. But yeah, so it's looking very overgrown at the moment, which I do not like, and I want to kind of redo some of it. But I just wanted to show you guys a few things that I like kind of forgot to show. Let's just get rid of that. So one of the biggest things is that to really make it look messy, but like still a cliff, and you'll see the main difference between this and this. This is very flat, and the reason why is because it doesn't have the half slabs and the stairs, as well as like rubble, the texturing. So it just kind of looks like a standard, you know, clean, not gonna fall down anytime soon, you know, not man-made landscape, and that's fine. But this, in my opinion, just looks better. It fits the area, and it makes you feel like you're actually part of something someone built. So basically using the stairs to kind of crack the stone really helps, in my opinion. And then, of course, adding leaves is always a good thing. But then you're just going to want to get some of the ferns and just kind of place them along the place. Just, you know, like normal, natural growth. That way it looks like it's, you know, being taken care of and like it's active and just a cool little place. And obviously tall grass is something you want to add as well. I just don't have any of that. Let's go and grab some of this, since all of this is eventually going to be covered anyways. But the biggest thing that I forgot to show, after I place some of these down, I'll kind of give you guys the idea. So let's go over here and grab some of this coarse dirt. So you'll notice right off the bat, one of the things about this landscaping that's not really that great is that the dirt kind of makes it look too similar amongst the entire, it doesn't look natural. If you add in some texturing to the dirt with coarse dirt, it actually does a very good job at fixing that. So you'll kind of see I'm like splashing it around. So on these parts where there's one and another one right beside each other, you can totally make that look a lot better just by placing in some coarse dirt. And then another thing is like on the top, let me kind of go up there using our little stair system here and just hopefully not break our legs jumping over. If we kind of start to replace some of the grass as well, kind of like what we were doing in the mesa biome, then it also kind of blends it all together well. And plus, this is kind of the style of the entire area. You know, what's it called? Podzol, that's right. And then the coarse dirt's kind of splashed around everywhere. So if you do that, it'll look pretty good. But just kind of blend that together, and then you will have a pretty cool looking landscape. And then combine trees with that, and you're all set and ready to go. So what I'm going to do is give you guys one final view of the landscape we created. Now this is extremely rough, but this gives you an idea. And some of you are going to say, oh, that's too messy. It's not really that good looking. You know what? There's one thing I do want to add. Let's add a rock, like right here. Well, now let's tuck it into the corner. I'm going to put a rock just right here into the ground. I think that could look pretty cool. So we're just going to do that. Break that away, and then do that. Nope, that. Nope, come on. There we go. So doing those is something I learned from Good Times with Scar as well. Doing that really helps dress up the area and blend it all together and bring it down to the ground and just make it look whole. But yeah, some of you are going to say this looks ugly, and it does right now. But once I kind of add some trees and make the land look a little bit better up there, it'll look a lot better. But this just gives you an idea of what you can do with custom landscaping and how to do it. So let's kind of get a good view from a little far away and not, you know, die in the process. Yeah, so once that's kind of all carried out and the landscaping is better and there's custom trees, that'll look a lot better because it'll blend with that. In my opinion, it'll just work. But it looks very rough right now, but it's just a tutorial, so don't worry about that. Anyways, guys, that's really going to do it for today. I don't really have much time to do anything else. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. If you have, make sure to leave a thumbs up and let me know your thoughts on my landscaping abilities. Maybe good, maybe bad. I don't know. I just want some feedback. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. My name has been System Z. You guys have been awesome. Thanks for watching.